Yes, This song is called Be the Change, inspired by the words of Mahatma Gandhi, who lived for peace and not violence, and told us to be the change we wish to see in the world.
Welcome to the 100th Monkey Radio with Tom and Ramon. We are recording this on October 27th of 2014. And this happens to be a Monday for me, Ramon. At least this morning was. I got up this morning, and I get up really early. I'm up at like between 3 and 3:30. I start 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning at work. So I'm quite the early riser, and obviously
Tom wakes up the rooster.
Yeah, it's dark outside, right? So I get up and come in, and I get my coffee and do my stuff in the morning, getting ready for work, and time comes to me to head out to the truck and take off, and I go in to kiss Elizabeth goodbye, and I come out of my office is where I have my coffee in the morning. Come out of my office and walk in there, and it's just, I came out of a bright room into a dark room, so obviously I'm blind as a bat when I walk in there. I walk in there and I walk over, kind of feel myself around over into the corner by the bed so I can lean over and give her a kiss goodbye. And as I lean over, I go wham, and slammed my forehead into the dresser.
Ouch.
I was like, oh man, this has got to be Monday. So I started off with a nice little goose egg on my head this morning.
Very nice.
I didn't let that slow me down though. I actually had a pretty good productive day. I kept my spirits high and
You sure it wasn't Elizabeth who stalked you for waking her up?
Well, it was dark in there. Oh, but man, I'll tell you what, Ramon, energetically, I don't know what the heck's going on here. It seems like, I don't know, I feel like there's on one hand, looking at both sides of this coin, on one hand, if you look out the window and you look at major media and the stuff that's being put out there in the world right now, it looks pretty dire. It looks pretty ugly. We got all this Ebola scare tactic crap going on. I agree there, and have to concede that there are some people out there that have gotten Ebola and died from it. What they got? Where are they up to now? Between 5,000 and 6,000 people in the world now that have died from it, something like that. But then I look at the poor guys that just got the everyday household flu, the 34,000 a year that die just here in the United States, and then I kind of put that in one hand and Ebola in the other hand, and I go, I don't know what the big fuss is about really. But anyways, I see that as a big scare tactic. And, there's a lot of people jumping on that bandwagon, and I have a feeling that, they may be using this as a ploy to maybe push through some more legislation to slowly but surely nip away at our civil rights and our what freedoms we do have left. But besides that, the other side of the coin, let's flip this thing over. And energetically, when I put my feelers out there energetically into the collective consciousness right now, I feel nothing but hope and growth and reassurance and just such absolute, I see a very positive trend happening right now. And it seems like there was a trigger or a switch that was flipped here in the last couple of weeks, and I think, me personally, I feel like this whole Mercury retrograde thing that we went through just recently had a big effect on the collective consciousness, and some big lessons being learned collectively. And I feel like that we're moving forward with. I know energetically, like I said, that there's such a feeling of optimism and moving forward that if anything in my personal path looked negative or tried to bring me down in any way, shape, or form, I just think of that and it just brings me right back up to that energetic high. And anyways. How's things going in Japan, Ramon?
Yeah, pretty good. This weekend I had a chance to go to one of Khan's workshops, and if you guys don't know who he is, he's like our 6th or 7th show that we interview, and it was really interesting. One of the things I wanted to mention quickly was, you know how when you have earthquakes or tsunamis or things like that, animals seem to know, and they take off and they head off for high ground or get away from the area that might be in danger. We always wonder, how do we know, and how come we're so disconnected? And he showed us this thing where you take your left thumb, and you put it on your wrist, and you take your pulse, and you count 3 pulses. And then at the same time, your thumb on your right hand, while you're taking your pulse with your left hand, you take the right thumb and you put it on your right side of your neck, closer to your jawline, and you feel your pulse. You look around there for the pulse. And then at the same time, you take your index finger and put it on the left side with your right hand. And so you want to take 3 pulses at the same time. And what he was saying was, when you do this in the morning and you do this at night before you go to bed, you would get used to reading your pulse. And then he said after a while, you should just think about it, and you don't even have to touch it, you can feel. Why is this important? Is because he said 8 hours before, if you're in danger, let's say your house is going to collapse, knock on wood, you'll feel that, and the pulse will go off beat. They won't be in sync anymore. And then you'll know as soon as you step out the house and you won't go back in there, for example, then you'll know, then it'll go back to normal, and then you'll know you're out of danger. So let's say you were saying, oh, I'm going to go to this bar, or I'm going to go to this party, and all of a sudden your pulse starts reacting crazy, then you don't go to that. And as soon as you say, I'm not going to go, if it stops, then you're out of the danger.
So this is sort of like kinesiology type reading thing?
No, it's not really that. It's more training that inner intuition. He was saying that we have three centers. Humans have 3 centers. One would be your head, your heart, and your stomach area. For me, my stomach reacts when I'm in danger. For other people, it might be a little voice or something annoying in their head, and other people, their heart. I'm not sure how that one would work, but he was saying when you put those 3 in sync, then you'll be able to feel it when the pulse is not acting in sync.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, because, what was that? I forgot who did those tests where you get those, the conscious of the human, the whole conscious knows that something's going to happen on the planet, for example, like before 9/11.
Right.
There was all these different things. Yeah, so that was really interesting.
So how is Khan doing?
No, he's doing really well. Real funny guy. Fun to be around with. And big thanks to Rohini and Fukiko for putting that together. As you know, Fukiko was Dr. Emoto's translator. So they put that together, so that was really nice.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
So we have someone who, speaking of luck, I remember last week I was walking by one of the pachinko / slot places here in Japan, and I got this warm feeling in my stomach that said, go in, go in. And I tried not to go there anymore. And then I went in, played $10 worth, and nothing. And then I got the feeling, play one more. So I played, and then I won about $20. Then I kept playing, and I ended up winning $30. So I made my 20 back. So profit was $10. So I was like, oh, cool. And then just walked out. So
there's the key, being able to walk away.
Yeah,
knowing it's time.
Yeah.
So we've got a returning guest for you guys. We had Joe Gallenberger on with us last May 5th of 2013, and we talked about his book Inner Vegas back then. And if you guys recall, or if you haven't heard that show yet, I would urge you to go back and take a listen to that also. Some really good stuff, and quite an amazing book that he put out there. Personally, I like the kind of approach he used with the title, and maybe bringing in quite a few people that would not have read the book under a different title, that would maybe, kind of in my eyes, maybe more would accurately portray what the book was all about. But the Inner Vegas thing is a freaking awesome exercise in learning how to actually manifest in a real way in this world. Dr. Joe Gallenberger is a clinical psychologist with over 30 years of experience as a therapist and a meditator with a senior. And hang on, Tom. Let's start this over again. My tongue is in knots.
Boo! You're fired.
Oh. He is a clinical psychologist with over 30 years experience as a therapist and meditator, and a senior trainer at the Monroe Institute, which teaches expanded human consciousness. He's developed programs for TMI, including MC Squared, that teaches psychokinesis, healing, and manifesting. He teaches expanded human consciousness to an international clientele through the Monroe Institute. The SyncCreation Workshop, the Vegas Adventures, and corporate workshops such as Inner Adventures. He's dedicated to exceptional quality individualized attention. After achieving powerful psychokinesis results at the university library, he devoted the past decade to refining these principles. He has a great interest in manifesting, creating the reality we desire. And he uses his discoveries to take participants into fascinating states of personal power and intuition. He gives presentations and teaches internationally on topics such as the out-of-body experience, accelerated and remote healing, manifestation, and mediation. Dr. Joseph Gallenberger, welcome back to the 100th Monkey Radio.
Thank you, Tom and Ramon. Are you having a good evening?
Oh, man. Besides my tongue being all twisted up and me not being able to read a simple bio, I'm doing fantastic.
Well, that's good.
Oh, so how have you been in the last year? You've been busy.
Yes, it's been a real creative year. Inner Vegas, Creating Miracles, Abundance, and Health took off quite well in the U.S. here, and from there went ahead and developed a CD called Liquid Luck, and then one called Abundance Waterfall, and now I have a new book out called Liquid Luck, The Good Fortune Handbook. And so I've been on a lot of radio shows and been doing a lot of workshops. We did our thinking about our 72nd workshop in Las Vegas, the Inner Vegas Adventures. So continuing to teach up at Monroe Institute, and we just had a beautiful fall day here in the Carolina Mountains, 77 and sunny, blue sky, leaves are all different colors, and so it was a good day here.
Wow. Oh, yeah, well, it was actually a bit on the drizzly side here today, and a little chilly, but I'll tell you what, this has been an amazing weather year for us here in the Western Washington. I think this was the most gorgeous summer that I think we've ever had, that I can ever recall. So, you know, that on top of everything else that's been happening in the world just kind of set this year off for me amazingly. It seems like something is afoot on planet Earth as far as people really starting to get a clue. Have you taken note of that yourself?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of energy change. And it seems, for example, that maybe areas like Las Vegas and Sedona, their energy is different than it was 10 years ago. Places like Hawaii and Australia are heating up with different energies. So, for example, in our Inner Vegas Adventure we just did, we called it Inner Vegas Adventure 2.0 because we spent even more time than usual on energy before people even got there. For a whole day we were playing beautiful music in the room and had all these fragrances going. And then when the workshop began, we saw really transformative healings for people and things. So it's a combination of, if you move into the fear that you do hear on the media, or in your own family or what have you, you can have a rough time right now. If you do move into higher energies, then things just seem to really be flowing extra quickly for people in the areas of positive manifestation, creative stuff, energy healing, those kind of things. But you got to do your homework first, because there is a lot of fear floating out there too. I guess that's what I've been observing.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. It seems like there's a, you know, within humanity, there seems to be a, you know, I kind of hate to look at it this way, but almost a divide happening in the area between the two sides of things, if we have to look at it this way, is widening. I mean, either people are jumping on the bandwagon and really digging in to try to understand who and what we are, what consciousness is all about, what life is all about, or they're just completely going absolutely the opposite direction and complete immersion into the third dimension, you know, materialism.
Yeah, so there's seems to be a lot of choice points there, and of course it's a lot of times easier to say something than do it. So the folks that are still out of work or suffering from illnesses now, you know, they have an extraordinary challenge that hopefully all of us send our energetic support to. And meanwhile, other folks, like you say, are thriving and feeling accelerated motion now for the first time in a good while. Right.
All right. Well, let's for our listeners out there who may not know who you are, can we go into a little bit about your background and you know, what got you into taking on topics such as out-of-body travel and manifestation and et cetera, et cetera?
Well, I had a lot of psychic experience as a kid. I'd be point of consciousness, one with everything. I had out-of-body, telepathic kinds of things going on. So the whole area of human consciousness was really interesting to me early. As I went along as a psychotherapist for 30 years and in my studies and seeing people, I began to wonder how we create the reality we're living in. I really got a kick in the pants on that issue when my brother Pete, who was very beloved to me, committed suicide. And he was intelligent, very hardworking, handsome, creative guy, and yet he just couldn't seem to get it together in the work area. And so that made me really begin to ponder, it's not enough just to be a nice person. You have to also feel worthy of abundance and do some things energetically to reduce fear, to bring abundance towards you. So that got me going a bit, and then as I discovered psychokinesis, this idea of affecting matter with your energy, to bend metal, to grow seeds in your hand in a few minutes, to light light bulbs with your energy without plugging them into the wall, that and energy healing and manifestation all seem to be the same energy. And I could study the PK or the psychokinesis quite easily in a lab. So as I put those ideas together, how we create our reality and how we could maybe have the power to do a much better job at it, that's what got me going on my journey.
So what was it that drew your interest towards towards your initial schooling? Did you go into I guess it's psychoanalytical? Did you go, which direction did you go with your PhD?
Well, first, actually, I started more from all those oneness experiences in kind of a Christian mystics way, and I was actually in a monastery when I was 14 and 15. That didn't work for me very well when adolescence hit, and I found out how rebellious I am. That didn't fit very well with the monastery. So I went in to study psychology and Eastern philosophy, and the programs I took were pretty wide-ranging. We did do behaviorism, but mostly we did what we might call transpersonal psychology, existential types of things. And so my training spanned the analytic and behavioral and stuff, but where I found myself kind of landing was in the transpersonal camp, where the idea of meaning and spirit being important are more prominent than some of the behavior therapies, for example.
So this is kind of, it sounds like this has been a pretty much a lifelong interest for you.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. As I went along with this quite quickly as a clinician, I did discover this thing called HemiSync, which Monroe Institute develops and Bob Monroe developed. And the cool thing about that was you could go into a deep meditative state within minutes without having to believe any particular dogma. And that really appealed to me. So I became a trainer up there. They just gave me a celebration of my 25th year doing that. And there began to design programs for them as well as do training. And that kind of gave me a good framework to explore this in.
Congratulations, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. I don't feel that old, but I guess I put in 25 years there, you know?
Actually, from your pictures, you look great. You're now what, 33, 34?
Yeah, something like that times two. I'm 64 now.
Actually, yeah, you look great. I've seen people who look 30 and look, oof.
Yeah.
So let's start there, because I think that has a lot to do with it. Just the everyday stresses of people's lives. I see it for some people, they age really gracefully and very well. And something about this generation, I don't know if because when I was younger, people just look older to me, but they look more run down when I was a kid compared to now. And then you get some people who, somebody I know who's about 7 years younger than me, and I always make fun of him because everybody always thinks he's older than me. And
I see quite a difference In the 25 years at Monroe Institute doing programs, I've seen people who've been coming to programs that long and meditating that long, as well as the work I do, the Inner Vegas Adventures, I think started about 15 years ago. And we have people now in their 80s that look younger than when they first came in their 60s. It's sure helpful to have good genes, but I usually feel like I'm about 25,
Right.
And I see a lot of folks that are in their 60s to 80s now, still very vital in doing new things, trying new things, very curious about life, starting new relationships that even have a heavy romantic component in them, and it's nice to see that. And I do see, other folks who at 40 seem and look older that, might be also walking around. So again, that dichotomy you mentioned seems to be there even on that issue. Some folks look pretty tired and old, and other folks are kind of not just like you. I expected by the time I was this age, when I was 20, to look and feel a lot older than I do. So that's great.
Yeah. Do you think for especially those people who are like in their 80s, that because they're willing to try new things, and some, my grandmother, for example, she's 94, bless her heart, but she would not want to learn how to use the remote control. No matter how much we try to teach her, she will not try to use it. But other people that age, they always want to learn new things and try new things. And do you think that affects the way their mind works, that they're able to have a very sharp mind at 90?
It can help if I've seen people that are very sharp at 90 and are pretty. They like their routines and maybe in their experience have found that new just doesn't always equal better. Sometimes they even say, just not worth the effort to me to say learn the remote control. And some of those are doing pretty well, but in general, I think it is helpful to be really open to life in the present and be able to try and experiment with new things. Folks who age that way often allow themselves to be silly, to laugh at themselves easily, to not worry about looking foolish, and so they're willing to give things a try.
Now, going with the thing with luck. What is luck exactly? Some people say it doesn't exist. You can make your own luck. Other people think that it's all about luck. Where do you fall in that?
Well, I'd like to start, I guess, with many people feel they define luck as something random. It's the old Newtonian science worldview, where it means chance, as in everything is random, and at times an infrequent event happens, whether good or bad, to all of us, that we'd call good or bad luck. So here you'd look at luck as just a random happening, and we really have nothing to do with it. Believers in this position, I think, feel that luck is probability taken personally. It's almost like superstitious to believe you'd have any control over it. And from my point of view, to become consistently lucky, this is the first idea, this idea luck is random, that we have to clear out, because luck is not just a random process. So in my point of view, I think luck in the sense of good fortune, wherein we have at least some influence and control, is a reality. I've studied quite a bit about the psychokinesis I mentioned, and it clearly points to that things we often consider random, such as the weather, flips of a coin, rolls of dice, are actually able to be influenced by our human consciousness. And this is in line with modern quantum physics type of theory, where even the act of observation shapes what potential will become reality. So it's a view of luck that I hold, where we can do a lot. So, many people will say, oh, that person was lucky, and really underneath that there was preparation, meeting opportunity, and then the guts to take a well-understood risk. But I also think there's, let's call it genuine luck, meaning the universe, angels, God, another person basically reaches out and blesses you with good fortune. And I think the best way to invite this kind of luck or blessing into one's life is to feel deserving of it, to trust that it exists, ask for it, and allow it to come to you. And we can create an energy field. That's what we've been talking about so far in the program. And a field of energy and thought that cultivates a large increase in luck. And it tends to be a very positive, heart-open energy. And so we know that some people are so lucky it defies any reasonable attempt to explain it away by chance, such as winning a major lottery 5 times. That happened to somebody. That shouldn't happen by chance even 1 in a quadrillion times. So, we look at things as being more than chance if they happen 1 in 20 times only by chance. So I think this has become a big exploration for me to see luck is real, not just random, and we can cultivate it and control it.
Exactly. So, getting into this state of, there seems to be, it's actually when you know what this state is and how it feels, et cetera, it's actually kind of simple. But from the outside looking in on somebody who is experiencing this state, this place of total acceptance and love and gratitude and grounding, being grounded and happy in the place that they're at, from that perspective, it's actually a pretty simple state. But looking at that state from the outside, if you're off kilter like the majority of what is out there today, they look at it and it becomes it can be daunting to say, oh, how do I reach that place? How do I find that place within myself where I'm able to bring these things into my life? What would you say are some of the most important key factors that you have seen that are fairly common amongst everyone that has been able to reach this state?
I think you're very correct. This is very similar to the zone in sports. We see somebody smoothly doing something, or in ballet, or in musicians. And if they're really good at it, it makes it look like it's simple. Yet there's a lot of practice and learning behind what they're doing. And then finally that all becomes automatic and they're able to do it. So in the Inner Vegas Adventure book and things like that, go into lots of detail, but I tried to summarize all this into a 30-minute CD that came out under the name Liquid Luck, and it was successful. And the book Liquid Luck, the Good Fortune Handbook, also gets really simple. So the first thing I think to look at is, if we looked at the most magic important ingredient, it's basically love. Remember old Tina Turner's song, "What's Love Got to Do with It?" When the it is positive manifestation, everything. I've never met a person in all my decades of manifestation work who is excellent at manifesting in a balanced way across all important areas of life, their health, finance, career, relationships, who is also not very joyfully and freely loving. So we're mainly looking at ways to generate a deep sense of open-heartedness or compassionate love for ourselves, for the world. And from that place we connect, from my point of view, we connect with spirit, we connect with our real source of power, and then we can begin to manifest stuff. So we'll talk about a lot of complicated things in the next hour or so, but if the person is going to remember one thing, it would be to be in high positive energy, be very loving. And there's ways now, technologies, to help you get that way, even if you're having the start of the day be kind of bad, like bumping your head on the dresser. You can allow that kind of experience to knee-jerk you through the day, making the day worse and worse, or you can realize how important it is to have positive energy and reset that energy. The main challenge is fear. So we I have a saying on my wall: fear is expensive, love is priceless. Choose wisely. So that's what tends to derail us. If we have difficulty, getting into this positive state, we're usually in fear in some way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. One of the things I've noticed too, and it happens to myself, and I've seen it happen to so many people. So, let's say, for example, I went into the slot machine, and I played, and I win.
Yeah.
Instead of just getting up and going, most people start getting greedy. So if you win $10, you want to win 50. If you win 50, you want to win 100, and so on and so forth. And that greed factor kind of kicks in for a lot of people. They want more and more, and then they just end up losing everything instead of winning more.
Yeah, and it can be that people are so thirsty for the good feeling that the win creates. They almost feel favored by God at that moment, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
They stay not so much greed to win more money, but they want to stay in that good feeling of being a winner. And every wave of abundance comes and goes. You accept each wave of abundance gratefully, and then you take a break and get ready for the next wave, if you will. But you don't want to stay too long. But you want to stay long enough, if you will, and the heart can give you that good wisdom. If you go into your head and you go into ego, then it's more likely you do what you just described, where your mind is saying, "Oh, just one more thing." Your heart's probably already saying to you, "We better get the heck out of here." And it depends whether you listen to your head or your heart in that situation.
Yeah. So, I suppose, I kind of wanted this first hour just kind of hit some of the major points before we dig really deep into some of these areas. But I think I changed my game plan. I'd kind of like to dig into being grounded. I mean, this is something that so many people just really don't quite understand, I think. There's a lot of ways to get grounded, but I see people that they'll go out, they'll take their shoes off, go walk out in the grass and hug a tree, etc. Whatever that happens to be, that place that they find that they feel more grounded to the earth, anyways. But I see being grounded as there's much more to it in. Those same people, they'll go out and after walking through the grass and doing some energetic work or whatever, the next thing that happens is they go, "Oh, I can't wait until I leave here, until I ascend," or they talk about wanting to be someplace else.
Yes. So you and I are in agreement. To me, grounding is mainly an intention. You can walk in the grass all you want, hug as many trees as you want, but if your full intention is not to be in the here and now and loving it, then part of you is not going to be here. And if you're fully here, that's a very powerful manifestation place, a place to do energy healing or psychokinesis from. So my definition of grounding is more bring your spirit fully into your body and body your body completely. Let your emotional and physical body speak to you without repression. Bring in the highest of energies from the earth to support you and the highest energies of spirit to support you. In that kind of grounding, you feel very happy, crisp, sharp, alert, and very comfortable being here. Even if there's a painful thing going on, you're versus half here and half not here. I meet so many good people that might be called New Age who are really nice folks. They're very loving, but they can't get it together in terms of relationship, health, finances, and stuff. What's usually missing is they're not grounded, even though they're trying to by hugging a tree, which can be an excellent thing to do. They have trouble with the planet itself, all the pain and the fear here, and so they're only partly here, and
Right.
that doesn't work. That doesn't work.
Right, and that's, to me, being in that grounded state, all those other things are added in there. When I go out and I really intentionally just try to really focus on bringing that grounded energy in, I feel the full spectrum of those emotions. The love increases, the gratitude increases, my appreciation of everything increases. So when I go into that state, it's just an explosion of all those good things, that love,
Yeah.
and those experiences. And to me, that's being grounded. That's really being grounded, being completely happy exactly where you are when you are, and enjoying it.
I would agree, and sometimes if you have been avoiding for a long time, when you first get in touch with the here-now reality, you might also have some emotions to express that might be like grief, for example. But I see it as positive because you're finally understanding where you are in this present moment and allowing yourself to be there. And if that was for a while to be a bit sad, so be it. You have trust that that will pass as well. But once you've cleared up some of that stuff, then the grounded state is one of the most beautiful things you can feel.
Right, exactly. Ramon, you have anything to add on the grounding area before we kind of evolve into another area here?
Yeah, actually, we're talking about it, but so let's say you feel ungrounded. How would you go about maybe something quickly about how would you ground yourself, or any advice for anybody who feels ungrounded?
Well, particularly when I get into a very, very high meditative state, I can be so ungrounded I don't even know I'm ungrounded. Okay. Signs of being ungrounded might be that you bump your head on the nightstand, that you feel woozy, spacey, that you're having trouble.
Forgetful.
Right, forgetful reading dialogue, any of those things. When I feel signs of being ungrounded, I usually will first affirm I want to be here now in this moment. I often will connect with the beauty of, I'm fortunate to live in a beautiful place, but even in a city there's a park and tree or the sky or something. Rhythmic music can be useful, things with the beat, water, showers, swimming, rhythmic drumming, many, many different kinds of things, if your intention is for it to really help you ground. And so I first may say, I am here, or I have arrived, and I'm very happy to be here. Those kind of statements, very strong, will tend to bring you back into a grounded state. And this is going to sound a little strange, but with the energy changes, I've found this particular thing I'm going to say to be helpful to many people. As I say, now after you've grounded to the earth and also ground to the highest of spirit, and then ground to your home planet, whatever that means, and people go, oh, I can finally ground for the first time. And so it may be that that's a fantasy, that they came from someplace else more pleasant. It may be a reality that we all started somewhere else. I don't know. But when they just use that intention to ground to home, they often have a more successful time than just trying to ground to the earth.
Wow, that's very interesting. That's very interesting, because that ties in so much into to so many other areas that we've come across chasing this path of consciousness. Interesting. So why would saying I have arrived when I'm already here? Why would saying I have arrived have an effect on grounding?
Well, we're often in consciousness not here. If you're at all thinking about the past or worrying about the future, you're not here, meaning here, present, right now. You know, the power of now, Eckhart Tolle. So when we refer to here, meaning here and now, we can, because our attention is divided, not be here, or we can not be here because our emotions are taking us away from there. So that's what I would mean by, you're not fully here. Yes, your physical body is here, operating probably a little bit on automatic if you're worrying about the future or the past, but your full consciousness is really preoccupied, worried about something else, if you will. Does that make sense?
It definitely does. Ramon, you understand that too?
Yeah, because I know that, as Stevie Wonder would say, most people live in pastime paradise, or they live in the future. And it's funny because one of the Star Trek episodes talked about that, where we consider ourselves to be linear, and we A, B, C, D, and that's the way we age and stuff like that. But our minds, our conscious, doesn't live in a linear manner. We're always way in the past or way in the future. We're never present.
This can be challenging. Let's say a doctor tells you on Friday there's something under your arm that he's going to biopsy on Monday, and it might be cancer. Well, you're naturally going to worry about Monday and what he's going to find. But if you wanted to heal that before Monday, you need to pull yourself fully into this present moment, because that's the point of power. And it's kind of paradoxical. What we find in many healing traditions, as I look at them, is the person has to strongly move into the now and then let go and flick their intention or their attention into a quantum area of probability, where they pull back being healthy, and then they bring that into the now. So the person has to be able to be here before they can pull it here. That's the grounding. And they also have to be willing to let go for a second and move somewhere else, if you will, independent of time, space, to bring back a new reality. And that's where you often see the miracle healings. So in matrix energetics, they have the two-point technique, where they pay attention to one point and then the other. They flick their attention. Rapid movement, eye movement desensitization, EDMR. They set an intent and then you flick your hand in front of your face. Tapping, emotional freedom technique. There's a lot of things where you set a strong intent that brings you fully into that moment, and then you distract yourself a bit to allow a new reality to come into that moment. And so it's kind of fun. It's a dance, is the way I would look at that.
Right. And, I don't remember who it was we had on, Ramon, but we had somebody talking about parallel realities and bringing the desired parallel into manifestation here by doing something real similar to what you were talking about there.
It's a young lady.
Yeah, where you would choose the reality that you wish to experience, and while being here, kind of with your consciousness, reach in and be that other reality, and it just takes a moment too.
Yes.
But it comes from that state, like you were saying, of being completely present.
Yes. First, you got to be present, even to really figure out what's needed, and then once you can do that, then it gets easier to shift from the present to a place where you can create something new.
That I can't remember who it was, but she talked about how they went away camping, her and her friend, and they were getting ready to go, and they locked their keys in the car.
Cynthia Sue Larson.
That's who it was. And she locked her keys in the car, and her friend sat down and meditated, and he just focused and focused. And when he opened his eyes because he heard something dropped, and it was the keys. Have you ever experienced anything of that nature where maybe you locked yourself out, or you were missing something you really needed, and you focused, and there it was?
Yeah, so after being very present, I've seen lots of miracles in the kind of work I do, sometimes where even one first person was robbed, and they took the grandmother's wedding ring, which was the most dear thing to them. And the police came through, fingerprinted, they searched all over, nothing there. And she said, she actually had a friend who had been to one of my workshops say, you can do anything, you just manifest Grandma's ring being back on the bedstand tomorrow morning, and it was. So we have things seem to pop into reality that way. Just relaxing, grounding, connecting with yourself. If you've lost something like keys, often the intuition about exactly where they'll be will pop into your mind, even if they're in kind of an unlikely place. So we call some of that remote viewing at times. And remote viewing has a chill down period where the remote viewer first has to get out of regular ego consciousness and linear consciousness and relax, meditate a while, and then they're ready to receive impressions independent of time, space, including where maybe you left your keys, to something highly important, such as where the next terrorist may try to come into the United States. But first they get into a place of connection with the present and relaxed.
Yeah, they can't go into it emotionally charged, like with fear or anger.
Right. So, one of the remote viewers that I think is best in the world, one of the areas he finds the most challenging is if there's a missing child, because the first 2 hours or so are very critical in that situation. And if he would try to find out where this child was, meanwhile all the time being worried about the child, he wouldn't be able to get a clear message. So he has to move into this area of love and trust, highly present in the moment to his perceptions. And then he's been quite successful at helping police find missing children. But it's a tough thing to get the ego out of the way in a situation like that.
Yeah, I've heard that from several remote viewers that's the toughest.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's kind of hard not to emotionally attach yourself, even if you don't know the child and they live, in another country. It's hard not to attach yourself to that.
Yeah,
It's that innocence.
Yeah.
Yes, but we learn how to do things that are challenging all the time, and the nice thing now is there's technologies, not the plug Liquid Luck, the CD, but it has a brainwave technology on it that most people within 5 minutes are deeply relaxed and now in the present moment. And then they can begin to visualize what they're wanting to manifest, etc. Where in the old days, you could go to an ashram or something and study for years before you made much significant progress in meditation. Now these things can be done in minutes. A place called HeartMath has technology to help you open your heart. We've talked a lot about lovingness. And as simple as putting your hand over your heart will tend to get your awareness out of your head towards your heart. And then think of someone you love, or a dog or a pet or beauty of nature, and your heart will open further. And within, 2 minutes, you've shifted from, dang it, I've bumped my head, to I'm in love with the universe again. And so the stuff is not really difficult to do like climbing a mountain. The challenge is just becoming aware you even need to do it, and then to remember the tools you could have very easily to be able to do it.
Right. And I am so grateful to be living in this time that we're in right now, with the internet and our ability to find information and to I mean, the technology that we've got out now, the tools that are coming out of our technology that are helping us to understand who we are, just fascinate me. Absolutely fascinate me. And yeah, I mean, I'm in tremendous gratitude at where we're at right now in the world with our technology. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, just like everything else. But what it's done for my personal growth and so many people that I know, it's just amazing, absolutely amazing. And the place that you happen to be closely associated with has done. Oh, geez, I just can't say enough about what the Monroe Institute has done for planet Earth and humanity. I mean, the things that have come out of that place and all the people that have been associated with it are making a huge mark on the planet. And, wow, much gratitude.
We've had a lot of impact. And I agree with you now. You know, one of the things, almost each week something strikes me on the web. And a few weeks ago what it was is there's something called a virtual chorus where a composer, classical composer, conducted his piece on Facebook, I think it was, maybe YouTube, and then people from all over the world sung the different parts. And he put together, I think now there's 4 or 5 pieces. The first one was maybe 200 voices from around the world all singing the same song. And now I think the last one was maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people, in every country you could think of. And you just watch that, and you get an experiential sense of we are one.
Wow.
And that we are a world community.
Wow.
And things like that come out weekly. You know that.
Yeah.
Say really are cause for hope.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What is that called?
Virtual choir.
Virtual choir? Because I've seen that with bands where they take everybody's different style of singing and different instruments from around the world and play, like, let's say maybe a Bob Marley song or some other people's songs. And it is quite remarkable when you get these different instruments and different type voices and the way they sing in these different countries. Singing the same song together is just, yeah, it's unbelievable.
It gives you a real, genuine sense of that it's good to have diversity, and it's good when diverse things can come together in unity. And
Right.
You know, we have these kind of messages, like you mentioned, 50 years ago before the web, that were possible.
Right.
So I just hope people, listening will realize that it doesn't have to be really, really difficult. You don't. The sources for help are there. The Liquid Luck book talks a lot about moving into generating happiness and why that's important. Feelings of gratitude, feelings of abundance, feelings of compassion, feelings of love, and feeling fortunate, and has a lot of simple exercises to get there. So the information's out there much differently than it used to be, and it's accessible to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ramon, we're at the top of the hour here, and Dr. Gallenberger, would you let our listeners know where they can pick up Liquid Luck and even Inner Vegas, if they would?
Sure. Well, the book Liquid Luck, The Good Fortune Handbook, is on Amazon and then Barnes & Noble on Kindle and Nook, so electronic or physical copies. And if they go to my website, liquidluckbook.com, they can get an autographed or signed copy, and they also then, on the top of that page, they would see all my workshops, Inner Vegas Adventure Workshops, the Inner Vegas book, and other things that I offer, home study course, SyncCreation. So just going to liquidluckbook.com would get people there to see the kinds of things I'm into, and if they just want to go on Amazon, they can do that too.
Are you still doing workshops and such out of Monroe?
Yes, I teach there about 10 weeks a year. I'll actually be going up again this Friday.
Oh, nice, nice. All right. Okay, well, amazing conversation, and we are going to continue this in hour 2, and we're going to dig deeper into this stuff. This is good stuff for all of us. I mean, if we can all just get a glimpse of the potential that this sort of information and this sort of understanding of ourselves can do for us, wow, we can change the world. We can change our lives. We can create happiness. We can create joy. We can create love. It's all good stuff. All right, guys, so we're going to head off into the second hour. If you are out there listening on the YouTubes, the Vimos, the iTunes, or wherever this audio may land, then I would urge you to pop on over to the 100thmonkeyradio.com for all the second hour content. We've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of material over there for you guys to listen to. So we will see you in hour 2. Condemnation without investigation is the height of ignorance.
The love you deny is the pain you carry.
Namaste.
Freedom's calling, I feel the fire that's deep inside us. Everybody wants change, but tell me who will guide us. To the leaders that pass away, put up your lighters. It's a beautiful struggle, but it cannot divide us. We're the ones that we've always been waiting for. See yourself in the mirror and open up the door. Walk through it and feel the love throughout your pores. Be the light, life's purpose is to feel joy. Metaphysical, lyrical, standing up for truth. The only one to make change is walking in your shoes. Be the example, don't complain about the news. Making music and serving the world with the loo. Now you can be the same, or you can be the change. Find strength from inside, break through the chains. No one to blame, nothing to prove. You create your reality, it's up to you. Be the change
that you wanna see in the world. Like Gandhi, live for peace, aspire to be someone who fights for the beliefs. Like Martin Luther King, aspire to be that love, that light, like Christ, life for the moment indeed. And if you believe in Jehovah, Allah, Buddha, Christian, it's love to me.
My soul yearns for peace in a world that's flooded with war. History's littered with body scar, trying to settle the score and maintain an archaic platform of power and greed. People fight for land out of survival and need. So I'm killing my television and I'm planting a seed to fill my head with knowledge that I'm seeing receive. Due to the media propaganda, killing my creed. Know what don't kill me make me stronger, feeling strength when I bleed. Fight for interest and forward, detach the feet. They try to say you anything in this world, nothing for free. Land, air, fire, and water, they keep up in the ante, while the anti-proletariat told the powers to be. But we keep fighting, surviving and thriving, recycling and rhyming. We constantly inclining, we see through the lying and prying. They tactically keep trying to keep you from asking the why.
Be the change that you wanna see in the world. Like Gandhi, live for peace, aspire to be someone who fights for the beliefs. Like Martin Luther King, aspire to be that love, that light, like Christ, life for the moment indeed. And if you believe in Jehovah, Allah, Buddha, Christian, love to me.
We find solutions, different possibilities, creating organizations like Aspire to Be, inspiring young minds to see, building life skills, nurturing creativity, fulfilling the youth's basic needs, listening actively, teaching the tools to succeed, positive role models, we plant the seed, the roots drink the water which feed the trees, someone help me, giving back to my responsibility.
Be the change that you wanna see in the world. Like Gandhi, live for peace, aspire to be someone who fights for the belief.